Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg, every morning presents the first obituary report. Mrs. Helen Sims Thomas, age 73, of Childersburg, passed away Saturday, March the 11th at her residence. Memorial service will be held today at 2 p.m. from Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel. Memorial contribution will be made to the Coosa Valley Oncology and Hematology Center on behalf of Helen's Forget-Me-Not Sharing Hope and Love Foundation. Online condolences at courteousandSonFH.com. Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel directing. Of course, many of you knew Miss Helen from Forget-Me-Not Flower Shop in Childersburg, which she started like in 1983 or so. And she was a member of the Bonaire Baptist Church and will certainly be missed. She began the Forget-Me-Not Sharing Hope and Love Foundation in October of 2016. Mrs. Helen Sims Thomas, age 73, of Childersburg, will be remembered today at 2 p.m. from Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel. Online condolences at courteousandSonFH.com. James Gage Wright, Jr., M.D. of Sylacauga, died at his residence on March 10th. Visitation will be Wednesday from 1 until 2 at First United Methodist Church in Sylacauga, with the funeral service beginning at 2:30 at the church. Dr. Wright served many years at Craddock Memorial Clinic in Sylacauga from 1957 to 1987. He also served as staff physician at the VA hospital in Montgomery for 16 years. He will long be remembered as a kind and loving man, not only to his family, church, his patients, and all who knew him. His compassion, patience, kindness, and his smile brought joy and love to many. He hopefully shared his love and knowledge of the Bible with many people through his words and his deeds. Mr. Wright was a veteran. He received the Purple Heart for wounds sustained in the battle in Iwo Jima. He joined the Marine Corps and served in the Pacific Theater. Again, visitation Wednesday, 1 until 2:30 at First United Methodist Church, and the service begins at 2:30 also at the church. James Gage Wright, Jr., M.D. of Sylacauga. Mrs. Peggy Joyner, age 69, of Sylacauga, died yesterday at Goodwater Healthcare Center. Courteous & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, will announce the arrangements. Memorial service for Mr. Jonathan Glenn Little, age 51, of Alexander City, will be Thursday at 6:30 from the chapel of Radley Funeral Home. The Reverend Scott Jordan officiating. The family receiving friends Thursday evening, 5 until service time at the funeral home. Mr. Little died Sunday, March 12th at his residence. He was a member of the Calvary Heights Baptist Church. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home, Alexander City, in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for William F. Pfeiffer of Sylacauga is today at 2 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Reverend Bob Owens and Reverend Dorothy Scott officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery in Sylacauga. Mr. Pfeiffer died March 9th at Grandview Medical Center. Visitation today, noon until service time at the funeral home. The family will accept flowers or contribution can be made to the food pantry at Wesley Chapel United Methodist Church in Sylacauga at 800 West Park Street. Memorial messages can be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. Larry Grady Taylor, age 69, of Rockford, is today at 1 o'clock from Rockford Church of God. Reverend Terry Hicks, Reverend Ray Franklin, Reverend Ivor Smith officiating. Burial in the Hyssop Methodist Church Cemetery with military honors provided by the Alexander City Veterans Honor Guard. The family receiving friends today, 11:30 to 12:30 at Rockford Church of God, where the body will lie in state 1 hour prior to the service. Mr. Taylor died Saturday, March 11th at Russell Medical Center. He was a member of the Rockford Church of God. Memorial message can be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City, directing. Graveside service for Armand Isabel, age 82. Graveside service Thursday at 1:30 from Green Hill Cemetery. Brother Joe Camp officiating. Burial in the Green Hill Cemetery in Childersburg. Mr. Isabel died March 11th at Citizens BMC in Talladega. Visitation Thursday, 12 to 1 o'clock at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Ramey Kyle Sumners, age 41 of Sylacauga, will be Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Brother Mike Pearson officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Mr. Sumners died March 12th at his residence. Visitation tonight, 5 until 8 o'clock at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga directing. Many of you who have lived in the area a long time might remember Coach Grogan, Gerald Coach Grogan, age 79, died March 10th. And there will be a service for Coach Wednesday at Kilgore Funeral Home in Pell City, visitation from 5 to 7. And a graveside service will be Thursday, 3 o'clock at East Aboga Baptist Cemetery. And the family will receive friends later that evening, Thursday, March 16th at Word Alive Church in Oxford, Alabama from 4:30 to 6 with a memorial life celebration at 6 at Kilgore Funeral Home in Pell City. Kilgore Funeral Home directing that service. Of course, Coach Grogan was a coach in this area for a long time and certainly will be missed and remembered by many, many friends. Gerald Coach Grogan, age 79, died Friday, March 10th. Shelby Jean Han, age 77, died March 11th at her residence. Funeral service 11 o'clock today at Erskine Funeral Home in Talladega. Elder Paul Golden and the Reverend Charlie Boat will officiating. The family receiving friends this morning prior to the service, 10 until 11 o'clock at the funeral home. Mrs. Han was a member of the Southwood Presbyterian Church. Online condolences at earthfreefuneralhome.com. Earthfree Funeral Home in Talladega directing. And funeral service for the Reverend Willie Joe Mowry, age 87 of Alexander City, will be Wednesday at 11 o'clock from Flint Hill United Methodist Church. The Reverends John Hill, Mike Jackson, Wayne Cowhick, and Dee Dowdy officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends today from 4 until 8 o'clock at the funeral home. Reverend Mowry died Friday, March 10th at his residence. He served many churches in the North Alabama Conference of the United Methodist Church, and most recently returned to his home church, Flint Hill United Methodist Church. The family will accept flowers or contributions can be made to the building fund of the Flint Hill United Methodist Church in Alexander City. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City directing. This obituary report brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. For pre-need, funerals, burials, and cremations, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg, 256-245-4361.